I'm Caleb.
I'm Haley.
And I'm having coffee with my ex.
Coffee with my ex.
I'm so happy I'm having coffee with you and not cocktails.
Yeah, I needed a break from the drinking.
Today was the first day that I felt that I didn't wake up with a just deep, dark, looming figure over me. You know that scary feeling?
Cannot relate.
Do you ever wake up and you have like that feeling and it's just like something paralyzing you and you cannot bring yourself to get out of bed?
Like, oh, I fucked up.
Not even just with hangovers. Like, just this, like, you're like, it's like an anxious depression of hopelessness, fear. Does that make sense?
Oh my God. That is scary. I want to let you know. Hold on. Let's talk about this real quick because you never texted me back when I told you what happened to me. I, innocently enough, was going to my freezer to get mochi because that's my favorite dessert. Okay? And Caleb, the night that we did cocktails with my ex, ordered me a handle of Tito's after the fact because I said I didn't have any liquor and he like wanted to surprise me with like some vodka. Because then after the podcast, we were like just hanging out on FaceTime drinking.
Yeah.
And literally the next day, opened my freezer where the Tito's was. It came tumbling out of my freezer and shattered at my fucking feet. An entire handle of Tito's.
I'm so mad about that.
Do you know how upset I was? I was like, Of course. It took me like an hour to clean up. It was so much. And I was like gagging. I was like it was so it was so bad. It was a really terrible time.
That was a $25 bottle of vodka that cost $75 to deliver.
No, it didn't.
So I'm glad you got a cocktail out of it.
I got literally one cocktail out of it. I was deeply depressed. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? What's the point in having it in the freezer? Like, it's just taking up too much space. I should put it on the bar cart. And I was like thinking I was going to do it as I was getting my mochi.
I was about to say, why was it in your freezer? It's like
I don't know.
Most of your alcohol is for decoration, unless it's wine.
It's the only it's the only alcohol I have.
She's had a bottle of tequila. I don't know if you guys are like this, but like I feel like Haley collects things. There's a bottle of like $25, $30 like Patron liqueur on her bar cart that she won't touch as if it's some ancient relic.
I like the bottle.
So drink it.
And now it seems like bad luck to open it because I've had it since I moved in here.
I don't. Okay, let's not even get into this. It's like when you're a kid and your mom doesn't let you like touch anything. Like candles were that for my mom. Yeah. Every candle was a decoration candle. They were not for lighting. And every time I would light a candle, I'd never know if it was the right one or the wrong one. And so today I light every
Caleb,
candle
that's how
possible.
You are.
No. Well, except for the decoration candle in the bathroom. Don't touch that. You lit my decoration candle.
No, I did not.
Yes,
that was your
you
mom.
did.
That was your mom.
That was my mom? That's ironic.
Or Allison, not me.
Someone lit my desert wildflower decoration candle, and I am
probably
devastated.
Your mother.
Anyways, all right. So,
by the way, how did this even happen? How did 6 minutes already go by?
I don't know. I just wanted to also say, if you're watching the visual, and for you, the reason I'm in this, the reason I look like a clown is because I just did a spray tan right before. So I also need you to beauty box my face in the visual because I'm very splotchy right now.
You look fine.
Thanks, babe. All right, you wanna kick us off with today's?
Well, wait first. I want to talk about the coffee we're drinking.
Okay.
So what coffee are you drinking?
I'm drinking Costco brand Kirkland Organic.
Do you ever branch out?
Yeah, I had that and Pete's. I switch between.
Oh. Okay.
But I did. My cheesecloth came in because I made my almond milk the other day, and I just blended it all up, and I didn't strain it, and so it tasted like glue chalk, and I put it through a cheesecloth, and I have no idea what I was doing. It took 35 minutes for me.
Did you have any like solids left in the cheesecloth?
Oh, so many. Good. It was full. It looked like putty, and.
Ew.
But I didn't really know how to drain it, so I was like squeezing it. It was like I was milking it. It was very odd. but it's great now. I put it in my coffee this morning, and it's beautiful. So probably 2.5 hours of work for a half a gallon of milk.
Honest to God, I would just buy it.
So that's what I've learned.
And yeah, you also had to like blanch the almonds. Like
I blanched the almonds.
You peeled those one by one. It is satisfying though to like do that little like motion and they just like pop out.
It's very satisfying, but my fingers hurt really bad. What coffee are you drinking?
I'm drinking. Okay, so do you remember Imperfect Foods? It used to be called like Imperfect Produce.
They're Imperfect Foods now?
They're Imperfect Foods because they have like so many different things now. It's not just produce, and they have their own coffee made from like beans that were just gonna get like thrown away. I don't know why they explain it all, but they were like saying like you're obviously like helping out a lot because these farmers already don't get paid as much as they should, and like if they're just like wasting product because there's like one imperfect bean in the batch or whatever it is, like they're just losing that. They're just eating that cost. And so I'm drinking the Imperfect Produce coffee, and it slaps.
She looks so cute, too, in your little mason jar.
Like, I have all the vibes. I have the guitars in the background. I have my fake plant. Like,
you look
my homemade cold brew, and then, like, my Reebok jacket.
You look like a girl who just moved to LA, and she's ready to follow her dreams.
Speaking of... That's a good little segue there.
Thanks.
Did you do that on purpose?
I did.
Oh my God, I wish that you didn't because that'd be better. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about our move to LA. I feel like this is like one of our most requested podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but everyone's just like, talk about your move to LA. And I feel like we talked about it for like a lot, but I guess we really haven't.
And you know what's weird?
We talk about it a lot.
I feel like at this point, it feels like, like everyone knows what LA's like because when you live it for so long, but I guess it is still like, not
it's
normal.
It's still like a wonderland.
People. Yeah.
To a lot of people. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and it's not.
It's not.
All right, so go on with your bad self.
Okay, so I'll take this. Okay, so the first thing I guess that we can discuss, what's the biggest difference going from Indiana to LA? And I guess before that, like what did you think?
Let's talk about let me do this. Are you okay? Like dead ass.
I'm gonna go.
What?
I'm gonna go.
I feel like we should talk about our actual move to LA.
That's what I was getting at because I realized I had gotten ahead of myself. Sorry, my notes were scrambled. You texted me last night and said, "Yay, you know what? I got this one."
I wrote down two new topics, and you said no to both.
I didn't say no to both. You said, "Hey, let's do the LA." You know what? Let's not have this fight here. You said we should do this episode. Anyways, let's talk about the move.
Let's talk about how we actually picked up our lives in Indiana and just mosey on over all the way to the West Coast. All four of us all together in my little white Jeep. just bright-eyed and just like naive and
full of hopes
so
and dreams.
Excited.
Well, I feel as if it's what makes people just like move is always so fascinating to me because I think it's very easy. We all said we wanted to go to LA. That was always, we had talked about it, but we talked about it for like
a year before. I remember being in my college house on Neely and us deciding at Starbucks, you and I, we were in a year we're going to move to LA.
Really?
Yeah, we did. We were looking at apartments and shit. We were really trying to get a feel for it. Do you remember that?
Was that did we vlog that one? Was that the Starbucks vlog?
No, it wasn't that vlog. No. Okay. But it was around that time.
I don't. For sure. I think I do remember that a little bit. But
because you're who's all gonna live there?
I can't believe. I don't think anyone thought we were actually gonna do it.
I know.
Because so many people say, and I was so scared that we were going to get stuck in that trap where everyone's like, oh yeah, next year, or I can't do it because of this. Like, there are a billion reasons that are a good enough excuse to get you to stay.
Right.
So and the way we moved was interesting because it's not like we really decided at that moment. Right. We had an opportunity of a lifetime thrust upon us.
Right.
Because out of the blue, we were with a company called Dance On, and they were working with a network that Verizon owned called Go 90. And they were doing shows, and they were picking up like different shows by YouTubers and trying to kind of like migrate talent over. So they approached us because they knew we wanted to move about doing a reality show about us moving from LA or move from Indiana to LA. And the deal was that, well, and because Cameron was incredible and somehow got them to pay for everything. So we were able to pack up, get our pods, move, get our cars shipped out, and get our first month's rent.
Fly my cats out.
Fly your cats out. And that was all covered. So we had this opportunity, and moving is so expensive and so daunting. Like, that's a huge reason too. So the fact that this was all taken care of, we couldn't say no to that.
Yeah.
And so it kind of felt like a God thing, or it was meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So weird. So yeah, we were shooting the show's called Life of a Fitness Pop Star. And they started filming us in Indiana, like literally like 2 days before we left. We had like a going away party that was filmed and stuff. Yeah. It was so emotional. It was very emotional. Which I just posted
a picture or a video a couple weeks ago from my mom's birthday with a scene from that show. And Haley, it was a really sweet emotional scene. I was saying goodbye to my mother.
Here we go. I say that all the time. It was very sweet.
And after I post that, and I'm literally like tearing up, like watching me, like as I'm posting this, just watching this scene, because I'm saying goodbye to my mom, and it's a really tender moment. And Haley calls me about the post, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna be like, oh, that was sweet, and she calls me cackling. She calls me cackling because she can't stop. She thinks it's so funny that I'm crying, because when I cry, my face does this thing where it all sucks into the center, kind of like one of those Snapchat filters. And I swallow my face.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm a horribly ugly crier. But
anyway,
that is beside the point.
Yes, you are. But so is everyone. It was hilarious because it's such a sweet moment. And I'm just thinking to myself, I know I'm a sociopath because I cannot stop laughing. So yeah, we are filming, and we're filming like our entire move to LA. We have GoPros, instead of like GoPros in my Jeep, and it was just like a lot. And we get to LA, and like we're obviously all freaking out. And for the first month, we're all living together.
This is also at a time when we're moving out. We don't really have, our only plan is that we have a reality show. We still at this point have no like real source of income. We don't make any money from the YouTube videos. Right. All we really have, literally all we have, is tour. So we are going to LA where the rent is quite literally 3 times what we're used to paying. And mind you, Haley and I aren't used to paying any rent because we were not in situations where we had to. We were freeloading. So So we went from paying nothing to paying quite a bit. So the first month we got covered. So that was nice. But it was also
like 1 month is only 1 month out of a lot of time.
We went from Indiana to like running our own lives, very chill. I mean, compared to like a person's normal like 40-hour work week, we had it real easy in Indiana. And then we get thrown into LA, and there's no time for us to explore or discover. I mean, we start shooting.
I had no idea where I was. I was just plopped down in LA. I've been there maybe twice.
We started shooting the moment we pulled up to the house. Like, there was no break.
There was no like taking it all in.
No.
Bria was having a full ass meltdown.
Poor Bria. We had our first like big fight on the way there. Like, we had quite a few. I mean, it just started to really like unravel us all.
Yeah, we were unraveling. But you know what we did do? We stopped. We're like, let's film it.
Yes, we did. Actually, Bria did.
Bria did. She's like, let's film it.
Our first fight ever, and no one can see this unless no one can access it now.
Yeah, it sucks.
But we had a really big fight about, I think it was like money and just like the like disbursement of funds within the group.
No, I think it was brand deals.
It was like, yeah, it was brand deals. And so we got in a really...
You compared us to One Direction.
That, like, I can't even get into it, Haley. We had a really big fight, and it started to get really uncomfortable. And Bria was like, grab your camera. Turn it on. And I said, okay. And we had a huge blowout fight. And then I was obviously in charge of giving them all the footage. And so I deliberately... when I transferred the footage, left that clip out because I did not want anyone seeing that. It was so embarrassing and uncomfortable for me. And somehow I must have accidentally slipped it in. Because when I watched the show, I saw it in and I said, oh. And then they planned the whole season off that fight. So
yeah, that shit is funny. Anyway, okay, so we get to LA. We're filming for like a month straight, like long days. And Bria and I had planned to live together, and then obviously Caleb and Cameron, and we had like a couple days before we were going to be done filming, we went to New York for like the season finale. Was it New York? It was somewhere like for like the season finale. And when we came back, like we had to move. Like we were out.
There was no time to.
There was no time to look for apartments.
We're shooting. Then they're like, okay, we're done shooting. Go find a house now.
Yeah, it was whack. And so Bria and I felt like we were going like as much as we can. And you can't get anywhere. Okay? So like if you want to go look at an apartment in Hollywood, you need to block off 2 hours of your day because we're sitting here in the valley. Mm-hmm. And like, why did I think that I wanted to live in Hollywood? It doesn't matter. And
why? Yeah.
Why Hollywood?
There's just so much to talk about. Like Hollywood is the last place I ever want to be.
Like, why do we think? But it wasn't even like our choice. Like we just we literally had stumbled upon this apartment by the Magic Castle. And this is after we had been 90210 owned.
They don't even know about that.
Oh my God. Guys, Bria and I got scammed into thinking that we were going to live in Beverly Hills for the cheap. Okay? Because we didn't know any better.
You have like, that's just such a learning lesson. You can't assume anyone has good intentions.
Right, exactly. We didn't know that. We didn't even know what Beverly Hills really even meant. We didn't know like how expensive it actually is. Mind you, I had only been to LA twice, and both times I'm working the entire time. So I don't really know where I am. We stumble across an apartment that's out of our budget, but it's like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We don't have a place to live. So like, let's just do it and we'll figure it out later. So that's how I ended up living in Hollywood.
I will never forget them calling us, and we were like, no, this doesn't sound right. They're like, no, there's this guy, and he has an oil rig in another country, and he just really wants to rent his nice Beverly Hills apartment out to someone who will really take care of it and a good person, and he's just letting it sit there, and so it's the perfect opportunity because he's on this oil rig.
This was like super like when we were like into like law of attraction, and so we really thought we really thought, and somehow this guy, we bought $500 worth of iTunes gift cards, and that's what Bria has a whole video about it on her channel. Honest to God, just go watch it.
They paid rent and iTunes gift cards, and still no red flags. No red flags. I can't. They had to end up selling their gift cards on eBay.
That's fucking right. You bet your ass I did.
Oh my gosh. But you live and you learn is what you do.
Yeah, I'll never trust anyone ever again.
So we got here. But I think that I think the biggest initial shock, like going from Indiana to LA, is obviously the price, and I think that's what everyone freaks out about. Whenever you say, "Oh, I want to go to LA," they're like, "You want to pay that much in rent? Like you could get so much more here in Kentucky."
Mm-hmm. Shut up.
No, I'm not making fun of anyone. So I think the price is the biggest initial shock. It's what keeps people away. It depends what you're coming here for. But for me personally, I feel like the price of rent doesn't it never deterred me. Like, yeah, obviously, like, it sucks, but it's whenever I think about going back home and I'm like, I would have a nicer place and like know where to go, or I couldn't like keep
you like
growing.
Were in the place that you wanted to be.
Yeah. So I think that has a lot to do, and I think a lot of people get caught up in just how nice of a house can you buy for the cheapest, and I'm like, that's just not my journey. It's like
not a goal of yours.
Yeah. As far as money, what would you say? Just rent is like the biggest thing? Do you think like the actual like cost of living is different in other ways?
I think that obviously like it depends on what you do.
Right.
Because like if you're like someone who is like a hiker, like you eat at home, like those are all things that like I do. So I don't really like see a lot of the difference in spending besides rent. But obviously going to restaurants and stuff is like way more expensive and like going out or whatever. But we have some of the best restaurants in the world. And so like I'm lit about it. Like if I want to go out and spend $30 like on a meal, like I'm happy to do that because I know it's gonna be fire.
See, and that's the other thing. It's like I love new experiences and culture. Like I guess it has to do with what you want out of life.
Yeah, it's like what you want to do. It all depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's like I'm sure I could go to Applebee's in my hometown and eat for cheap or whatever, but like I really enjoy having a new experience, going out, trying something new, getting new flavors, seeing like a new scene. Like the restaurants here have such a great aesthetic and vibe.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to experience and explore. And that's the other thing I feel like about LA that's different than Indiana is I feel like there was a lot of monotony in my life, just because it made sense. Like, why would I travel so far to go to like a random restaurant when there's just all these like chain restaurants really close to me? And having access to all these amazing places literally across the street or down the street really changes everything because you just experience more.
Yeah, but I do want to say that in Indiana, whenever I would find one of those places that like made me feel something, I was like lit about it. I was like, go you. Like you are a dime and a dozen. Like it's good for you. This is what like Indiana needs, that kind of culture.
Yeah.
So
and I guess
always, like,
places
would try
like
to find
Indianapolis for sure.
I love Indy so much.
Yeah, Indy's great. I think it was just weird, like going from our town is like it's just a whole different world.
Oh, 100%.
Because our biggest restaurant, we just got a what is it? An Outback?
Texas Roadhouse.
And people are, freaking out about it.
It's popping all the time, and that opened a year ago.
We used to have to drive out of town to go to like a nice restaurant like Texas Roadhouse.
Like Olive Garden.
Yeah. Oh, stop. That's too fancy.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things. And also it's not crazy expensive. Like you can get like really good local cuisine or like hole in the wall cuisine for like cheap. It doesn't have to be expensive. So
yeah, it's really all depending on what you want. Like there's so many things here to try. Like you're always gonna find something that fits your budget, fits your style, fits like what you want to eat. The food culture here is lit.
Yeah, and I think also that kind of goes into my other favorite thing about LA, which is what I said before I came here. Every time I visited, it always felt like an adventure. Every hill I went around, it was like this whole new scenery I saw. And obviously I'm being dramatic, but
it felt so whimsical before we moved here. Like it felt so like every single day we'd wake up here, like I was like ready to take on, the sun was shining, I was ready to take on the day. Like it was just like we'd walk to our favorite juice spot like in the area, like we would hit up the clubs, and it just felt so magical. Yeah. But you know what? I don't think that magic is totally run out for me. I think it's still like I still think every day truly can be an adventure if I want it to be. Right. I don't want it to be every day.
I feel like I'm still always seeing new places, discovering like new landscapes. Every time I go through the hills and I just see the city, I'm like, wow. Yeah. That's my city. I'm going to conquer that city.
Oh my God.
I think they're always that sense of adventure, and also that sense of there's always opportunity around the corner is what is so exciting to me. And I think that's the difference, because as a YouTuber, you can absolutely make the argument that you don't have to be in LA. You can make a YouTube channel, do everything you do from home and save a lot of money. But the things that you don't account for are all of just the random opportunities to stumble upon someone who might be your friend or might know somebody who knows somebody or who will invite you to this event. Or, I mean, those are just things that you can't plan on. And I feel like...
There's like priceless things.
Yeah. I mean, so many of our deep, important relationships that we have now, friendships and in the business, are all just... because we were here and we ran into somebody and a relationship flourished and blossomed. So
yeah,
those are experiences that I know I wouldn't get in Indiana, or it'd be very rare to run into someone who is like doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. It's like we're constantly surrounded by people who are creative, who are entrepreneurs, excited.
That's my favorite part about LA, I think, is being surrounded by so many people who have so many good ideas, and they're go-getters. Like that's just like creating your own business is such a beast, and to find someone like, especially in like a place like Indiana, not to say like whatever, but it's definitely a more corporate type of place. Like you get your job, like you work for someone, and like that's it. But here, people are so creative in how they make their money because they've had to be, because it is expensive, and so you're just like, fuck it, like let me try this thing and see if it works, because what do I have to lose? Right. And then it ends up panning out, and and then you're an inspiration to someone else and they do the same thing. And it's just like, I love surrounding myself with those kinds of people because it makes you feel like anything is possible if you lean into whatever like you want to do.
I mean, surrounding yourself, it's like the people who are surrounding you dictate so much of your trajectory and how far you go, because when you're surrounded by people who are either not doing as much or doing something totally different or
doing even something they don't want to do,
right, and normalizing working a job that they hate, although while some people have to do that, like that's reality, like not everyone can just like go to LA and get their dream job. Like we're not saying that at all, like life is life. But if you do have that opportunity, if you're surrounded by people who it is normal to do something that they don't enjoy to get by, it's much easier for you to fall into that and think, well, that's what I should do too. And it's not our life. Like what we did is not normal. And a lot of it is luck. Like our videos started to blow up like that. Sometimes things just happen. But
yeah,
you can work, if you work really hard and you try to make connections and you do surround yourself with other people who are doing what you do. And
you're a good person.
Yeah, and just be a good human. Like the law of attraction, I think, does apply in that way.
Yeah, if you're a good human, you will find good humans.
Yeah. So that's I think definitely my favorite part about being out here. Also, it's like being... I remember when one time we were gone for a while, and then we like flew back here. Do you remember like just the culture shock again of being in the airport after being in Indiana for so long?
Yeah.
Because sometimes in Indiana, you're like, everyone looks the same. Like everyone generally like, kind of like looks the same. And then you get like fly into LAX and
everyone's so spunky.
You just see so many different races and cultures and religions and types of people. Like everyone looks so different, and it's so beautiful.
Well, depending. Sometimes everyone looks the same. That's another thing about LA is that like
going down Melrose.
LA gets a bad rep of like, obviously there's some really shitty people here. So like, I mean, but like you don't have to talk to those people, and we don't. So that's why we're not really like, well, this person's fake and this person's fake and this person's fake, because like we don't surround ourselves with fake people.
That's so funny. I was wondering that. I was like, why don't we have a bunch of like fake people to talk about? But it's just because like we don't even.
But we're also we don't like give any people like that the time of day, and like we're not social climbers, and I think that's where you get like really like caught up in that kind of stuff, like using people, and the people that you use are using people. It's just like it's a hole to fall into, and we're just not like that.
I don't have the energy to pretend to like hang out with people or talk to people that I don't like.
Yeah.
It's hard enough for me to hang out with people I do like.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, the people definitely.
Yeah, but I just think that's so cool. Not to say like, I'm not trying to make this sound in a way that's like Indiana's bad. It's just, it's nice for me to see, and I think it's good for everyone to also like see people who don't look like them all the time.
Yes.
to realize that the world is bigger than yourself. There are so many different cultures. And I think also, I don't want to make this taboo, but I think that a lot of times when you grow up in a smaller town, you're taught to almost fear people who don't look like you, or
in like
people
big cities.
Yeah.
Like any like big city, because like you never know what's going to happen because it's full of people who are like all different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like people who don't look like you, be afraid.
Anyone who dresses different, if they have like something weird on them, like I don't even know.
You're taught to be afraid of anyone who looks like they're out of place.
Yeah. And that's something I just love. And maybe this is also because of like me growing up gay in Indiana. It's like I always longed to be around people who were able to be different or be themselves or express themselves.
I feel the same way, and I'm not gay. I just like to look at people who like to express them. Caleb, I'm not gay. But it's so nice to see people like being able to express themselves, because I feel the same way. Like I always wanted to like express myself, and I felt like I couldn't, even though like I'm still like a little white girl who can do whatever she wants because I'm a little white girl. But like I still felt a little like suppressed in the way that I wanted to express myself.
Well, if you walked into Starbucks in Indiana, and some of the like the ways that you dress here or anywhere, people would probably look twice.
Yeah, who does that girl? Who does she think she is?
You think you're better than me?
You think you're better than me? Exactly.
Oh, and I yeah, it's just so funny. People love to talk. I feel like too from back home. Like people love like the small town gossip, and oh, they're doing this and she's wearing that, and I wonder what that means. What did her parents think? Like, and it's just so funny because out here we're so far removed from any of that.
Yeah.
I swear to you, the things I see walking down the street. I was driving home one day last year, and there was a man standing in the middle of the intersection, butt naked. I mean, just banana flying around. And I said,
yeah.
I've seen it all.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy shit.
I mean, you got real friendly with Spider-Man and Bumblebee.
Oh my God. Spider-Man. No, Spider-Man and Superman would follow me home.
Haley lived on Hollywood Boulevard.
I lived right by Madame Tussauds. Like where Spider-Man, all the Spider-Mans, there's like 6 or 7 of them. They all like to hang out. There's blue Spider-Mans, there's black Spider-Mans, there's red Spider-Mans, there's Supermans, there's Batmans, there's all kinds of mans.
Because there's
and they all like to follow me home.
On Hollywood Boulevard, there's a bunch of people dressed as characters because Hollywood Boulevard has a lot of tourists, which is why no one ever goes there if you're from LA unless there's an event. And so people like my mom get off on that. They're like, oh my God, there's Spider-Man, there's Mickey Mouse, there's Minnie. And it's really just like random people, probably sometimes sketchy people.
They probably make more money than we do.
That's true.
They probably do.
And so you got real friendly with them.
Yeah.
Something else that I feel like happens a lot here. Oh, also, just as far as things to do, I think you touched on this earlier, but having like a beach and having all of these different like places to go, having the mountains accessible, that is it's almost just comforting to know that there's always a mountain you can go climb if you need.
Yeah. It's so nice. I love hiking so much. I miss it, obviously, since like we're in quarantine or whatever, and like the beach. I don't go to the beach enough, but it's a day. It's a day's worth of doing. But it is so nice to know that, like, if I wanted to go have a beach day, I can go. If I wanted to go on a hike with a friend and, like, get a nice workout, get a little tan and have a nice view, or just, like, by myself, like, it's just so nice to, like, not be on flat land all the time.
Yeah. Also, I love going back to just, like, the ideals of everything, but I feel as if exploring, daring to try something new, also just self-care, like eating well and exercising, is like encouraged and celebrated, and I feel like people kind of lift each other up for that. And I feel like sometimes back home, like if you catch yourself eating a salad, someone would be like, oh, like you're eating a salad, like do you think you're fat? And it's just like, oh no, I just like wanted a salad. Or if you like go to a workout class, it's less like, oh, I'm doing something that I'm excited to go do because it's gonna make me feel good, and more of like, did you ever feel like you would get kind of like made fun of, or
people act like because you're trying, because it's this culture of like you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you try? That's how I always felt, like, with anything. Like, with the food that I ate, with the way that I dressed, with, like, my habits. Like, it was like, oh, I was always just trying too hard.
People thought you were being, like, pretentious. Like,
yeah, I was being extra. Like, you think you're better than me?
And I think that probably comes from a lot of, like, personal insecurity, because when you're surrounded, again, in a community where, like, trying to better yourself is more taboo in certain ways, or because I think a lot of people, like, eating well it's confusing. There are lots of mixed messages, and especially, like, with access to food and the restaurants available, it's harder to live a healthy lifestyle, especially when you really don't have many tools or resources. So when you feel like you kind of don't know what to do and it's impossible, when you see someone else trying to do it, the first human instinct is to try to tear them down, because that makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, how are they achieving something that you don't know how to do or can't do?
Yeah.
So
access to food is a big one, I feel, because I remember when I was vegan and I was living in Marion, and the only thing I could eat anywhere was fries. And so you bet your ass, if I was hungry, I was going through the Arby's drive-thru and getting myself a medium curly fry. That's what I did. That's all I could do.
I mean, yeah, and it's just, I think the access is huge. So, and also it's like going to Arby's. Yeah, sure, you can order a salad, but it's so much easier to make choices that perpetuate patterns that you are trying to break, I would say.
I love Arby's. I know it's taboo to say that I love Arby's, but I love Arby's, okay? Don't come for me.
Like
shut
Arby's.
Up. Like, literally, shut up. It's my favorite.
Don't put your Barbie hand up.
Shut up. I love Arby's.
You look like tracksuit Barbie, like 90s Barbie. Oh my gosh. You know what? One thing that I really hate about LA, and I guess this is less about LA and more about the space we're in, but I hate going to events.
Oh my god.
I think a lot of times you'll see in, like, influencers' stories or whatever, and them at, like, these elaborate, like, brand events and whatnot, and you're like, oh my god, they're living the life. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be there.
No, it depends on the brand.
It does depend on the brand.
It depends on the brand.
And the free alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Open bar or not makes a big difference. If there's an open bar, I'm probably going to have a good time.
Yeah. And also, it depends in the vibe. It's just, like, if everyone there is just, like, down to have a good time, sure. But if everyone's there trying to, like...
Usually they're not.
Get the perfect photo, or just... There are certain events...
You know what? You're right. Because even if there is an open bar, sometimes you're like, I can't even drink around this environment. Like, the Revolve events.
It's too stuffy.
The Revolve events. I've never seen so many just, like, stiff humans in one place. Me and my friends were the most lively bunch there.
I remember you saying you're like, no one would dance.
No one would dance. There's this huge dance floor. The great DJ. Like, and all the and all the Revolve events that I've been to, it's been that way. So
that is tea. I can't believe you said that.
Because those are like the type of people, not to shade anyone, but obviously there's a lot of those types of people that I don't want to actually be friends with that are at those events. And they are those types of people who think they're better than everyone else. And that's the bad part of LA. Yeah.
I feel like I just put my blinders on and I try. I mean, one, I wear rose-colored glasses, so I never see the bad in people. But, I mean, there are... I also feel like, too, though, it's easy. I've found that it's easy to write people off by looking at them before you talk to them. Like, sometimes when I see girls that look like an Instagram photo, who look like there is air inside of their head, and I'll, like, make a quick rash judgment, and then I talk to them, and they're very, like, intelligent, very nice, kind, and I'm just like, wow, I judged you before I even talked to you. So I think it's difficult, but I think there are a lot of people who are very vain and superficial, and it's so hard because, and I think everyone is kind of starting to blur the self-care, self-love messaging, everyone is beautiful type I think everyone is learning to say the right things, so it's harder to distinguish who is just talking the talk.
Like, is this coming from your heart, or is this something that you've been fed?
Is this, yeah, exactly. How would you, I think the other biggest thing that people talk about is the traffic. What's your opinion about the traffic?
Caleb, the traffic is the absolute worst part. I would rather be friends with the most disgusting Revolve model out there than have to drive on the 101 and back. I've spent too much of my life sitting in traffic, and I feel like you don't really get it. I feel like you didn't really get it until you moved to the Valley. Like, going anywhere is like the worst, but I've lived in the Valley for now 2 years. And before that, I lived in Hollywood, so obviously still just like terrible. And the times, because Caleb and I used to live like pretty far apart, and I would have to always drive to Mid-Wilshire and back.
You have to tell the story. 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 So I'm going to start it. So Haley, again, is coming from the Valley to my apartment. And at this point in time, I'm living in a place where I don't really have to get on the highway. So every time Haley talks about traffic, I'm like, you stupid little girl, just complaining about nothing. Like, I could go anywhere, because West Hollywood, Mid-Wilshire type area, that's a bubble. That's its own little bubble. And so she would have to get on the freeway, come see me, and how many miles would you say? It would take
probably like 10
miles.
And it would take, like, in the morning rush hour, would take like 45 minutes to an hour. So I would drive there, we would do our work for the day, and then I remember this certain day we had worked out after, and then I had drank, like, it was when I was drinking like too much water. I had like 2 liters of water.
I remember that phase.
And so then afterwards, and then it was like, by that time it was like 5 p.m., which is like the worst part of the traffic. And for some reason, my Siri was saying that like traffic was heavier than usual. And so it was going to take me almost an hour and 45 minutes to get home. And I was sitting at a stoplight trying to turn left on Highland for a solid 30 minutes. Like, something was going on. I don't know. And I was in tears. I was having such a bad time. And guys, I had to pee. Oh my God. Bad. Like, I was in pain. I thought my liver was or my kidneys were gonna shut down. I thought, like, I was in so much pain. I was bawling at this point. Just trying, and at this point, I'm not even to the fucking highway. I'm not even to the 101. I'm still in the city. Like, the highway is a whole other thing. Like, it's still, like you're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And I'm freaking out because, like, you can't just, like, stop anywhere or, like, go to the bathroom. Like, you can't pee. You can't go anywhere.
I remember you were, like, texting me throughout this.
I was freaking out. I was, like, full on, like, having a meltdown. Like, you know when you have to pee so bad and, like, your entire world around you is just shattered. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot think about anything else until you pee. And I finally get onto the highway, and I was like googling like gas stations or whatever, and like nothing was coming up, and I get off on like a random exit. It was Barham Boulevard. So like the first exit like off of the highway once you get like out of Hollywood. You know what I'm talking about, Caleb?
You
don't know anything. Yes, about
I
the highway,
do.
You Barham Boulevard.
I know the first exit when you get out of Hollywood.
Okay, so I get off on Barham Boulevard, and I'm fucked. I'm gonna have to pee, like, outside. Like, I was, like, full on, like, about to get arrested for this shit. Like, I don't care. And I pull up. I find this, like, dead-end street that's, like, I don't know. And it's, like, uphill. And I just stop, and I grab my my water bottle my 2-liter water bottle that I loved so much. And I take off my pants, and I'm in the driver's seat of my car, and I pee into the car. Like, I'm full on just like squatting. Like, there's apartments beside me. Like, anyone could have like come out, but I didn't care. Like, that's how little regard for my own life I had at that point. And I pee into the bottle, and I completely miss. it goes everywhere. It's like in my seat. Like it's everywhere. Like this much got into the fucking cup. And it was like a wide mouthed cup. Like I'm confused as to what happened, but like I don't pee in cups very often. So like I don't know. Okay. Like I fucking wish I had a dick at that point. Like I wanted it so bad. So I pee all over my Jeep. I honest to God didn't even care. I was so happy. I went home and I still had like 30 minutes to go. I went home, I sat in my pee and I didn't even care because I was relieved. Sitting in my pee was better than feeling what I felt before.
I can just imagine you.
And I called you after. I called you after and I was like, this is what happened, but I don't even care.
I just don't understand. You just like, for me, you just like put it in the bottle and you go.
That would be amazing.
It's so simple.
It is so simple, right?
I just like don't. Is there not like any kind of like joystick you guys have inside?
No, I wish.
Can you just like not like
can you just like nudge
can
it
you
over
not
a
like
little
control the cannon inside?
No. No, but you know what? Whatever. It's either that or like I die from like kidney failure. That's what I felt like I was faced with. Either do this or you die. And I chose life.
You have good primal instincts.
Anyway, so yeah, I hate traffic.
That's how we got here.
And that's why I hate traffic.
I feel like I block it out. It's like, it's so annoying to me, but again, it's never been, I just accepted it when I got here. The stories I heard, I thought that I would like leave my house and I wouldn't be able to go a block in like 30 minutes. So the fact that it's like, okay, it's going to take longer to get places. I feel like it's almost better than those horror stories I heard.
Well, your card like takes you places. Like you
I
don't
also
even have
switch
to
on
drive
autopilot everywhere I go.
You don't have to drive. You just fucking sit there. Like you don't have to do anything.
I literally, as soon as I get on the highway, I go boop boop.
I know, even if there's no traffic.
And then
Even if you know exactly where you're going.
Confirm lane change. Boop. I am chilling. I am straight chilling. I feel like I have a personal driver. And Haley also gets so nervous when I'm paying attention, but I'll be like a little less attentive. And Haley will be like very concerned because I trust my car literally with my life.
Too much. Trust your car too much. So what is your music recommendation of the week, Kebab?
My music recommendation of the week.
Or like a movie, podcast, any kind of media recommendation.
I want to recommend a show.
Okay, here we go.
I love recommending shows. I just finished Little Fires Everywhere.
Did you love it?
It was incredible.
I know.
I mean, the way everything ties together, the nuanced racism was, even I feel like just for me watching it, it brought up things that I sometimes wouldn't even think about myself. But I'm like, oh, duh.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was written. I mean, it was acted beautifully. Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon are incredible actors.
Yeah.
Cannot say enough good things about it. Really, really need season 2 to come out like now.
Are they doing a season 2?
They better.
I thought it was just that.
I'll be devastated.
I thought that was the story. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Reese loves to do that. Insert Pretty Little
Lies.
I
think it was a book. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on any of that because I'm really not sure. That's just kind of what I assumed because it like ended very cleanly to me.
But there are still questions. Quite a few.
Is that right?
I have questions.
Yeah, it was a really good show. I watched it like in a day, maybe 2 days.
Same.
My recommendation. Were you done?
Yeah.
My recommendation. I texted you guys about this. So last night I watched Ratatouille for the first time. And I don't know why I never gave it a chance. Maybe because it was like a rat. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, a movie about a rat. But like, honest to God, this rat is me. I am one with the rat. It's like set in Paris. This rat wants to be a chef. And it's the cutest thing. And I loved it so much. And I was just so happy watching it. I haven't felt that happy. I haven't felt so alive in a while. I love that movie. It's one of my new favorite movies. Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I watched Rich. Monsters, Inc. 2 nights ago. And I've been watching Even Stevens like it's my job. I'm having a great time. I watched Liz McGuire episodes.
Ooh.
Boy Meets World. I've been really into Disney Plus.
I'm glad. I haven't seen Ratatouille since it came out. I would love to watch it again.
It was so cute, and I just like I understand it. Like I related to the rat. I related.
Do we have any? Is it intentions? Is that the next thing?
Yeah.
What's your intention for the week?
I don't know why I take this so seriously.
I don't know either because I feel like I never follow through.
I know. What was my intention last week? Oh, to stay sane. That didn't work. Maybe my intention is to be outside a little bit more. Go outside.
With a mask.
With a mask, but like I feel like the only time I ever go outside is to run, but like I could just like sit outside and like hang out. Just enjoy some of the sun because it's sunny, it's beautiful outside,
it's so pretty out.
I don't care, but I should.
We didn't even talk about the weather. Just like skip over the fact that it's like 70 and sunny every day.
Right. I hate it. Okay, yeah. So mine's maybe to go outside, hang outside more because I have like a patio. I have like a whole like setup outside. I just don't really use it.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. That's good.
My intention for the week is to be kinder to myself and to be gentler with myself. I've been stressing out about creative things or doing enough or is this good enough? So I think just being gentler and kinder.
I feel like I feel that all the time to the point where like I just feel like there's no end in sight. That's just how I feel. I don't even like notice it anymore. It's just like a lingering feeling that I always have.
We should do an episode on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. I know that you drop off at this point, so I just want to let you know that you can follow us on Coffee with My Ex on Instagram, HaleyJordan12 on Instagram, and the Fitness Marshal, that's me, on Instagram. Let us know any ideas or questions you have for the next episode. If you didn't catch our Cocktails with My Ex episode, which was the last one we did, you should check it out as long as you are prepared to hear things that are not brand safe. And
we ruined a lot of brand deals with that.
We ruined a lot of brand deals. You thought the occasional F word was
bad.
Was bad. No.
Yeah. No.
No. Coffee with My Ex.